So people have talked about a lot of other things that you could do. A podcast, Dancing with the Stars. Would you do any of that?
I don't know. Look, I have 4 left feet, so I don't know about Dancing with the Stars. Only if you go with me, Marcia.
I have 5 left right now. So how about a new George Santos reality show, Truth or Dare?
That would be funny.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America.
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. There's a thin line between fame and infamy, but in both cases, it can be lucrative for the center of attention of it all. And of course, we're talking about, once again, George Santos from the People's Republic of New York, the 6th person in history to be expelled from Congress. In case you missed it, here is our going away video for Mr. Santos.
We can all look back and say, this is not how at least I thought this year would go. I don't think this is how most of people in the media would think this year would go. And it's just an unfortunate circumstance.
On this vote, the yeas are 311, the nays are 114, with 2 recorded as present. 2/3 voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted, and a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. The clerk will notify the governor of the state of New York of the action of the House. Under Clause 5D of Rule 20, the chair announces to the House that in light of the expulsion of the gentleman from New York, Mr. Santos, the whole number of the House is now 434.
Now, sashay away.
And while many of you out there thought that this was the end of the story for George Santos, oh, my dear friends, it's only the end of a chapter, because there is much more to come, including George Santos facing 22 years in federal prison for a litany of charges. How will he handle that? And of course, cashing in on his fame and infamy, because as we've seen, George Santos is a complete and utter narcissist. Hey, George, how can we miss you if you won't just freaking go away? We're going to be talking about one specific interview he did with CBS News' Marcia Kramer here in the People's Republic of New York City. But before we get to that, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. And if you like what you see and hear in this or any of our other videos on this channel, smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff, because it all feeds that YouTube algorithm. As always, thank you so much for everything that you guys are doing on the channel. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I hope I earn your subscription today in this discussion of the narcissism of George Santos in this interview with CBS News. So George Santos sat down with CBS News New York's Marcia Kramer, who's an investigative reporter, to talk about his immediate future. Specifically, how is he going to make money now that the grift of running for office and being in Congress is done?
So are you going to write a book?
Yes.
What are you going to call it?
I'm thinking about that title yet, but I will definitely be writing a book. I'm actually going to be having a couple of meetings this week about that subject.
And I guarantee you that book's going straight to the fiction section. Folks, I wouldn't believe George Santos if his tongue came notarized. Listen, every Politico writes a book. I talk about my book all the time. The difference between, let's say, my book and a book from George Santos is that my book comes with actual citations and annotations, about 30 pages worth at the back of the book. George Santos is not going to be believable. But of course, he's going to make money off of this because controversy turns into cash when you're dealing with someone infamous like George Santos. There are people out there that are going to want to know his story and they're going to want to read that book. Of course, it's human nature. I get it. But this is part of the grift of a narcissist like George Santos. It's going to be all about him telling his story his way, controlling his own narrative. What he's not going to be able to control is what's happening in his court case, where he's currently looking to cop a plea deal.
Former Congressman George Santos reportedly in talks to take a possible plea bargain in his federal corruption case. Court record shows Santos has been in talks with federal prosecutors and is expected to be in federal court tomorrow.
People are asking you to write books?
Yes.
So what else is how else are you going to raise money? I mean, you're going to have some big legal bills.
Look, right now I'm doing the Cameo thing.
My favorite TS song is definitely going to be Trouble. I knew you were trouble when you walked in. That's me. Bye.
And I have a few other prospects for employment that I'm looking at. Haven't really made a decision. Believe it or not, in policy and advocacy, people really like my record.
I don't believe it for a second.
What did George Santos accomplish in Congress that he would have a record about? What piece of legislation did he champion that got through? If you've watched prior videos, the answer to that is none. He introduced around 30 some odd bills. None of them got past being introduced. Only one of them got one sponsor. What record is he talking about? What advocacy group, what organization would want George Santos's input? Come on.
A 100% voting record score with Heritage Foundation.
So they want you to be a lobbyist? Or
Not
what?
a lobbyist, more of a policy advocate, you know, so a spokesperson kind of say.
What? No.
Let's say you're the head of a lobbying firm, or you're a head of a special interest for some issue that George Santos voted for because of his conservative voting record. He went along with the tide, by the way. He didn't make any special votes. He didn't make any special splash with his voting. He was one of a couple of hundred other Republicans voting for the same thing. Do you want George Santos to be your spokesperson? So I'm just cherry picking different sections here that I thought would be amusing to all of you out there. But believe it or not, there's a whole 14-minute interview here where Marsha Kramer actually asked George Santos policy questions, his opinion about who's going to succeed him. And honestly, I don't find any of that interesting because an opinion of a buffoon like this means absolutely nothing to me on any serious topic. But there is some politainment value here in listening to George Santos talk about certain things, including how he was portrayed in media and pop culture.
Feel when you hear somebody make fun of you.
Look, I take it in strides. If they're making fun of you, you're doing something right. It's actually flattering in a way.
That's not how it works. This is how it works.
If they're out there making fun of you, it's not necessarily that you're doing the right thing. It's that you're a person of interest that people want to talk about. And they talk about you in a very bad way. There is no good press for George Santos coming out of this.
Most politicians get really offended when they make fun of their looks.
Why don't you?
I have good humor. I was the king of self-deprecating jokes my entire life. I'd make fun of myself like, oh, great, I'm a minority glutton. I'm fat, I'm Hispanic, and I'm gay. I always joke like that.
Now, listen, I'm not going to say that George Santos doesn't have charm. He's certainly entertaining. I get that. But let this be a lesson to voters out there. Don't be fooled by the razzle-dazzle of these narcissists. Every politician tries to put on that bella figura, that good public face that they want you to fall in love with. You don't fall in love with candidates. You vote for candidates because it's in your best interest to do so. Not because he makes good jokes or he has a charming personality or she has a charming personality or whomever it is. You vote based on substance. At least that's what you should be doing. And if you do fall into this trap, you end up like the 3rd Congressional District of New York voting for a buffoon like this.
You like the spotlight?
It's not the spotlight. It's really just I don't mind the jokes and the humor. Look, I mean, Joan Rivers was one of my favorite people on earth. And I mean, how many times was that woman roasted? And I think I probably draw a lot of inspiration from that kind of grit that she had. And I'm like, I mean, if she can do it, I can do it too.
So you've rejected offers of an offer of a documentary. Why?
I've rejected a couple of offers of documentary.
Why?
Because that's going to be done in my time.
That's going to be done in my time is translated into I'm controlling my own narrative. Documentaries are supposed to be truthful accounts of events with a little bit of editorializing, but any documentary created by George Santos is not going to be the truth. Again, throw it in the fiction section. George Santos absolutely loves the fame. He is such a narcissist. You can see it in this interview. This is a man, you wouldn't know it by looking at him, who is facing 22 years in federal prison because he duped donors, took money from them, spent it on Botox and OnlyFans. Come on, you don't think that he loves all this attention that we're giving him even here? You're welcome, George. I'm happy to do it for you now that you have no place whatsoever making policy in the halls of Congress.
Not when these people want it. You know, HBO wants to go write a movie about a fictitious book without any involvement from me, my family, or anybody within my orbit. Go ahead. It's, you know, it's fine. I'll do one when it's ready.
There's going to be a movie about you anyway.
There will.
Who's going to play you?
I don't know. It'll make their career, though.
Who do you...
Again, there's the arrogance right there. Seriously, George Santos is going to make someone's career by playing him? It'll be a footnote in somebody's acting career, but it'll be the biggest thing possible to this narcissist. This man is completely off the rails.
Want to play you?
I don't know. I mean, look, I've never thought of a movie being made about me, so I wouldn't even know where to start, truly.
Will you ask for a piece of the profits?
If a movie's made about me and I'm contributing, absolutely, Marcia.
How long do you think your fame will last? Will it be long, short-lived?
Look, it's not about fame. It's if I can stay relevant so I can keep advocating for the things I believe in and I can be impactful in the 2024 presidential race.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
He thinks he's going to be impactful in 2024? Just throw politics away if that's true. George Santos should not be listened to for anything political at this point. The man accomplished nothing in Congress. He duped donors, stole money from them, allegedly. Again, these are all allegations that are in the indictment. There's all proof out there. He lied about his background. He lied about his education. He lied about his family. He lied about his mother. And he thinks that he's going to be impactful in 2024. The only thing that's going to be impactful in 2024 for George Santos is the sound of those prison bars closing, God willing. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. And one of the things that we heard from George Santos before he left Congress was that if he was going down, he was going to take others with him. So when Marsha Kramer asks about some of the crazier things you see in D.C., Santos was ready with this answer.
So what's the strangest thing you ever you saw in Washington about life in Washington?
The strangest thing in Washington I witnessed was people cheating on their spouses.
What?
Yeah.
No.
No, well, in the matter I saw, it was very strange to me. When two married people are cheating on both their spouses when they're back home as they're supposed to be serving in Congress, that felt gross.
Members of Congress, staffers, who?
Members of Congress cheating on their spouses with one another.
Really?
Yeah, that's how bad it is in D.C.
Wow. So let's look.
And that's going to get me a lot of heat.
I think that will, but I'm not asking.
I'm not dropping names.
But he gave just enough to get people to want to ask more. This is what narcissists do, people. It's all about them drawing attention to themselves. George Santos likes to portray himself as this charming character, and he's got the inside dirt. He's going to be the Perez Hilton of DC now, apparently. That's going to be his new role if he can stay out of prison long enough. This is just pathetic. This is someone that went to Congress, that got voted into Congress. This is the quality of people that are trying to run for office. This is why I wrote my book, folks. We need to stop buffoons like this who are clout chasing, who are out for themselves and for ingratiating themselves in their career and beyond their political career. We have to stop the proliferation of buffoons like George Santos. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of discussion about life after politics, whether he's going to go on Dancing with the Stars and stupid things like that really nobody cares about. But I do want to go to this ending here with Marsha Kramer. This is George Santos's farewell message to his constituents.
So last question. If you could look into the camera and talk to your constituents after all that's happened, what would you say to them?
I would say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it ended like this. And I hope that you can see what I accomplished as far as what I promised you during the campaign that I would do, and that you feel like there was a sense of delivery there. And I hope to see you all out in the district as we're out there dining and having fun. And I'm sorry, and I will terribly miss being able to have the awesome responsibility to serve you in the House of Representatives.
Will they forgive you?
I hope so. I believe so.
Listen, I'm hopeful that everybody gets forgiveness that is earned. I don't think George Santos gave a genuine apology here. He's sorry for how things turned out. He's not sorry for what he did or his role in how things turned out. He's sorry that all of this happened to him and by extension happened to the people in his district. He's not sorry for anything that he did. Again, this could be tactics for his litigation because he doesn't want to admit anything. But then why put out a phony apology like this? This is pure narcissism from George Santos. But listen, that's just my opinion. Are you guys glad that George Santos is out of office now? Do you want to see what the next chapter holds for him? And do you want that next chapter to hold jail time? Let's talk about it in the comments. And please subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. Like and share the show with your friends. All that good stuff. Let me know what you think about George Santos and all the other shenanigans and buffoonery that happens every day this week in Dumbmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.